Imagine a life where your mind is truly free, no longer weighed down by stress, overthinking, or the endless cycle of doubt. Picture yourself waking up each morning without the heavy burden of past mistakes or the exhausting habit of comparing yourself to others. Imagine what it would feel like to simply be, fully present, at peace, and completely unshaken by the chaos of the world around you. Buddhism teaches that true freedom does not come from external success, material wealth, or the approval of others. It comes from within. It comes from letting go of unnecessary burdens, toxic habits, and the mental clutter that keeps us trapped in suffering. Today, we'll explore 7 powerful habits you must release to truly free your mind. These lessons, drawn from ancient Buddhist wisdom, will help you clear the path to clarity, happiness, and emotional freedom. If you are ready to step into a more peaceful and fulfilling life, join me as we embark on this journey together. Lesson 1. Quit overthinking. Overthinking is like a storm that never settles. It pulls you into an endless cycle of worry, regret, and imaginary scenarios, none of which serve you. You replay past conversations, analyzing every word, wondering what you should have said. You stress over the future, creating problems in your mind that do not even exist yet. You exhaust yourself with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. And what does all of this accomplish? Nothing, except stealing your peace. Buddhism teaches that overthinking is a form of mental noise. It distracts you from the present moment and creates suffering where there is none. The more you engage in these thought loops, the stronger they become. But here's the truth: you are not your thoughts. Thoughts come and go, just like clouds in the sky, and you have a choice: to chase them endlessly or to simply watch and let them pass. One of the most powerful Buddhist teachings for overcoming overthinking is mindfulness. Mindfulness means bringing your awareness fully into the present moment. The next time you catch yourself spiraling into overthinking, try this. Pause. Take a deep breath. Focus on the feeling of the air entering and leaving your lungs. Notice the sensations in your body. Listen to the sounds around you. In that moment, you pull yourself out of the endless noise of your mind and back into reality. Over time, this practice rewires your brain. You learn to observe your thoughts without becoming consumed by them. And when you master this, you will feel lighter, clearer, free. Lesson 2. Let go of grudges. Holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It fills your mind with anger, resentment, and negativity, none of which harm the person who hurt you. But they do harm you. Every time you replay the moment of betrayal, every time you relive the pain, every time you hold on to resentment, refusing to let go, you are the one suffering. Buddhism teaches that attachment to negative emotions creates suffering. By clinging to past hurts, you keep yourself trapped. But the moment you release them, you set yourself free. Forgiveness is not about excusing someone's actions. It is about releasing yourself from the burden of carrying that pain. You do not have to let that person back into your life. You do not have to pretend it never happened. But you can decide that their actions will no longer have power over you. Try this. The next time you feel anger or resentment towards someone, ask yourself, how much longer do I want to carry this? What would it feel like to finally let it go? Then, take a deep breath and choose to set yourself free. Because life is too short to waste energy on resentment, and your peace is too valuable to be held hostage by the past. Lesson 3. Stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of joy. It convinces you that you are not good enough, that you are falling behind, that your life is somehow less than because it does not look like someone else's. But here's the truth. Everyone is on their own unique journey. Buddhism teaches that suffering arises when we crave what others have or when we resist our own path. Think about it. You compare your life to someone else's highlight reel on social media, not realizing that you are seeing only the best moments. You compare your progress to someone else's, forgetting that they are walking an entirely different path. You convince yourself that you should be somewhere else in life instead of appreciating where you are now. But what if, instead of comparing, you celebrated your own journey? What if you focused on your own growth, your own lessons, your own path, without measuring it against someone else's? Try this. Whenever you catch yourself comparing, pause and shift your perspective. Instead of thinking, "They have something I don't," try thinking, "Their success does not take away from mine." Instead of thinking, "I should be further along," remind yourself, "I am exactly where I need to be." The more you practice this, the more you reclaim your happiness, and you will realize there is no need to compete. You are already enough, just as you are. Lesson 4. Stop seeking external validation. How much of your life is spent trying to prove yourself? We chase approval from family, from friends, from society, as if our worth depends on the opinions of others. But here's the truth. No amount of external validation will ever be enough if you do not already believe in yourself. Buddhism teaches that true confidence comes from within. The more you depend on outside approval, the more fragile your sense of self becomes. One compliment makes you feel worthy. One criticism makes you question everything. One rejection makes you doubt your entire path. This is no way to live. Imagine how freeing it would be to walk through life without needing anyone's approval. Imagine making decisions based on your own values, not on what others expect. You do not need permission to be yourself. You do not need validation to know your worth. You do not need to be liked by everyone. The next time you find yourself seeking approval, pause and ask, "Am I doing this for myself or for someone else's validation?" If the answer is for someone else, stop, because the only person who needs to approve of your life is you. Lesson 5. Let go of the past. Most people live in two places, the past or the future. They replay past mistakes, dwelling on regrets, wishing things had been different, or they anxiously anticipate what's coming, always planning, always worrying. But neither of these places are real. The past is gone. The future is not here yet. The only moment that exists, the only moment you have power over, is right now. Buddhism teaches that attachment to the past creates suffering. You cannot change what has already happened. You cannot rewrite history. But you can free yourself from its grip. The next time your mind pulls you back to past regrets, take a deep breath and remind yourself, "I cannot go back, but I can move forward. I am not my past. I am who I choose to be in this moment." Let go of old pain. Let go of what you cannot change. Because every time you release the past, you reclaim your present. And in the present, you are free. Lesson 6. Release the fear of change. Change is inevitable. Seasons shift. People grow. Situations evolve. And yet, we resist it. We cling to the familiar even when it no longer serves us. We fear the unknown, even though it holds new possibilities. We try to keep things the same, even when change is necessary. But what if, instead of fearing change, you embraced it? What if you saw it not as a loss, but as a doorway to something new? Buddhism teaches that suffering comes from resisting life's natural flow. But when you trust the process, when you allow things to shift, when you stop gripping so tightly, life becomes lighter. So the next time change arrives, instead of resisting, try saying, "I trust that this change is leading me somewhere meaningful. I let go of fear. I welcome new possibilities. Because growth only happens when you step into the unknown, and the more you embrace change, the more peaceful your life becomes. Lesson 7. Stop worrying about things you can't control. How much of your energy is wasted worrying about things you have no power over? The weather, other people's opinions, unexpected obstacles. We convince ourselves that worry is necessary, that if we think about something enough, we can somehow control it. But the truth is, worry changes nothing. It does not fix the problem. It does not prevent what is coming. It only drains your peace. Buddhism teaches that the key to a free mind is letting go of what is beyond your control. Instead of worrying, ask yourself, can I do something about this? If yes, take action. If no, release it. Accept that life will unfold as it will. You cannot control everything, but you can control your response. The moment you stop wasting energy on the uncontrollable, you reclaim your power, and suddenly, life feels lighter. Lesson 8. Detach from the need to always be right. Many people would rather be right than be at peace. They argue, they defend, they hold on to their opinions so tightly that they create unnecessary conflict. But ask yourself, do I want to be right or do I want to be free? Buddhism teaches that attachment to opinions is just another form of ego. The truth is, not every argument needs to be won. You do not have to correct everyone. You do not have to defend yourself against every disagreement. A wise person knows when to let things go. Try this. The next time someone challenges your beliefs, pause and ask, is this argument worth my peace? Most of the time the answer will be no. You do not have to prove yourself to anyone. Silence is often more powerful than words, and when you learn to let go of the need to be right, you will find a deep, unshakable. Lesson 9. Quit living for the future. How many times have you told yourself, I'll be happy when I get that promotion, I'll feel peaceful when I have more money, I'll finally relax when everything falls into place? But here's the truth. The future is never guaranteed. Buddhism teaches that the present moment is the only moment that truly exists. If you are always chasing the future, you will never feel content. Because once you reach one goal, your mind will immediately look for the next. Happiness is not something you arrive at someday. It is something you choose right now. Take a deep breath. Look around you. There is something beautiful in this moment, if only you slow down enough to see it. Start living now, because the life you are waiting for, it is already here. Lesson 10. Stop seeking happiness outside yourself. Most people believe happiness is somewhere else. They think they will find it in success, in relationships, in material things. But no matter how much they achieve, no matter how much they acquire, it never feels like enough. That is because happiness is not something you find. It is something you create within yourself. Buddhism teaches that lasting joy comes from inner peace, not external circumstances. Think about this. There are people who have everything, yet still feel empty, and there are people with very little who radiate peace and contentment. Why? Because true happiness does not come from what you have. It comes from how you see life. Instead of asking, what do I need to be happy? Ask, how can I find joy in what I already have? Because the moment you stop searching for happiness outside yourself, you realize it was within you all along. Lesson 11. Quit letting fear control. Fear is the invisible cage that keeps most people trapped. They fear failure, so they never take risks. They fear judgment, so they never express themselves. They fear change, so they stay stuck in situations that no longer serve them. But fear is just an illusion, a thought, a mental construct. And once you stop giving it power, it disappears. Buddhism teaches that fear only exists in the mind, the things you are afraid of. The worst-case scenarios you imagine, most of them never even happen. So why let fear control you? The next time fear arises, ask yourself, is this fear real, or is it just my mind creating stories? Then take action despite the fear, because freedom is not the absence of fear. It is the courage to move forward even when fear is present. And once you do, you will realize most of the limits in your life were never real. You were always free. You just had to stop believing in fear. Lesson 12. Stop holding yourself back. At some point, you must ask yourself, am I the one standing in my own way? How many dreams have you abandoned because you doubted yourself? How many opportunities have you ignored because you told yourself you weren't ready? How much of your potential has gone untapped because you convinced yourself you weren't capable? Buddhism teaches that self-doubt is just another illusion, a mental barrier you created, but one you can also destroy. You are not as limited as you think. You are not as weak as you fear. The only thing keeping you from the life you want is the belief that you cannot have it. So let go of the doubt. Take the first step and watch as the world opens up in ways you never imagined, because you were always capable. You just had to believe it. Lesson 13. Stop living in your head. Come back to the present. Most people are trapped in their minds. They live in thoughts of the past, reliving mistakes and regrets. They live in thoughts of the future, worrying about what's to come. But they rarely live in the now. And yet the now is all that truly exists. Buddhism teaches that suffering is not caused by the present moment. It is caused by our resistance to it. We suffer not because of what is happening, but because we want things to be different than they are. But what if, instead of resisting, you simply accepted? What if you let go of the past? What if you stopped fearing the future? What if you fully experienced this moment, without judgment, without distraction? Try this. The next time your mind pulls you into overthinking, pause. Take a deep breath. Feel your body. Listen to the sounds around you. Notice the sensations in this moment. And remind yourself, right now I am safe. Right now I am alive. Right now I have everything I need. Because peace is not found in the past. It is not found in the future. It is only found here. Lesson 14. Let go of attachments. Nothing is permanent. Everything in life is temporary. Your successes, your failures, your joys, your struggles, the people you meet, the moments you cherish. Nothing stays the same forever. Yet we cling. We cling to relationships, afraid of losing them. We cling to material things, believing they define us. We cling to identities, afraid of change. And in this clinging, we create suffering. Buddhism teaches that freedom comes when we release our attachments. This does not mean we stop caring. It means we stop grasping. We enjoy without needing to possess. We love without fearing loss. We live without resisting the natural flow of change. Try this. Instead of fearing the end of something, appreciate it while it lasts. Instead of holding on to things, trust that life will always bring you what you need. Instead of resisting change, embrace it as part of the journey, because nothing is truly yours to keep, and that is what makes everything so precious. Lesson 15. Stop waiting to live. This is it. How much of your life have you spent waiting? Waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting to feel ready. But here's the truth. Life is happening now. There is no perfect moment. There is no guarantee of tomorrow. All you have is today. So stop waiting. Wear your favorite outfit now. Call the person you've been meaning to reconnect with now. Pursue your dream now, because one day you will look back and realize life was never in the future. It was always here. It was always waiting for you to notice it. Lesson 16. Free your mind. Let life be what it is. At the core of all suffering is resistance. We resist the present moment. We resist change. We resist anything that does not go according to our plans. But what if you stopped resisting? What if, instead of fighting life, you allowed it to unfold? Buddhism teaches that peace comes when we accept life as it is, not as we wish it to be. This does not mean giving up. It does not mean you stop growing. It simply means you stop arguing with reality. Instead of thinking, "This shouldn't be happening," try asking, "How can I work with this?" rather than against it. Instead of resenting the past, try accepting, "It happened. Now, how can I move forward?" Instead of fearing the future, try trusting, "Whatever comes, I will handle it." Because life will not always go according to plan, but that does not mean it is going wrong. Sometimes, the best things happen when we surrender and allow life to unfold in its own way. And when you stop trying to control everything, you realize you were never meant to. You were meant to experience, to adapt, to flow with life rather than resist it. The path to true mental freedom. Everything we have explored comes down to one simple truth. You are the only one who can free your mind, not your circumstances, not other people, not success or material things. True freedom is an inside job. It happens when you let go of the past, release attachments, stop overthinking, accept change, trust the process of life. When you do this, you no longer carry unnecessary burdens. You no longer live in fear. You no longer hold yourself back. You simply live fully, deeply, freely. Because freedom was never outside of you. It was always within you, waiting for you to let go and embrace it. A final thought. Begin now. If you take one thing from this, let it be this. You do not need to wait to free your mind. You can start now. Let go of one thing today. Release one worry. Embrace one moment fully. And as you do, you will feel it, the lightness, the clarity, the peace. Because once you stop clinging, once you stop resisting, you will see that life was never meant to be a struggle. It was always meant to be lived. And now you are finally free to live it.